Oh no, it's another one of those videos where they just sit in front of the camera and ramble all day.
Here we go.
Hi, welcome to St. Kitts. It has been a windy, really wavy, windy week. We're getting a lot of chores done, and we thought we would do a Q&A before we took you on a tour of St. Kitts next week. This is going to be pretty easy for us because we do it every night on TikTok. But we understand that there's a lot of people on YouTube that don't cross-platform. So, yeah, we're going to explain a little bit about our past in social media and then answer some of the top 12 questions we're getting in the comment section or that we've been asked on our lives. And you know more about the live part.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what TikTok is, I do TikTok. I do lives. We also post some videos over there, just little short videos and stuff. But I do lives, and like Blaine said, these are a lot of the questions that I typically do during my sunset lives, that people ask almost nightly. So this is something that we answer a lot from time to time, but for YouTube, we are going to answer them again.
Yeah, we understand that there's a difference between platforms and that, you know, some people don't have this one and some people don't have that one for all their own reasons. And we just have started to notice that we're getting some of the questions on YouTube that we've kind of been answering every night on TikTok. And that leads me to a little bit of a side quest for a comment about our sponsorship with Amantis. Because we have been on TikTok for a while now and
almost a year,
and built up quite a following over there, and we do nightly lives and everything. That led to our sponsorship with Mantis. I don't want there to be any confusion or
assumptions made.
Thank you. That somehow we got sponsored based off of the most recent current events that brought some of you to our channel. This sponsorship was secured way back in Christmas time. We have actively avoided doing TikTok and doing sponsorship stuff, and for the most part, our YouTube stuff, because we felt that it wasn't right to do things on a monetized channel that had to do with the current events. So with that being said, we're going to get into some of the top 10 to 12 questions that we can fit into a 30-minute questionnaire that we get while we are out here sailing. But first, Marty just kind of wanted to take a second and introduce us and explain that you might not have gone back 9 episodes to see our first introduction, so we're going to do a brief one now.
So he's Blaine.
I'm Marnie.
Standard. You're not Marnie. I'm Marnie.
No, you're Marnie. I'm Blaine. Okay.
So we are Sailing Cameo. We have been, I should have done this math before we sat down and did this. We've been on the boat now for, is it 3.5 years?
Let's say that. And then somebody can go back and fix it later and yell at us and call us liars.
I think it's 3.5 years. And have owned the boat for over 4.
Over 4.
So we have just been out here sailing around. Our ultimate goal is to sail around the world. Some life events and environmental factors have led us to pretty much staying in the Caribbean for the past couple of years. Florida and the Caribbean, from Cuba to Grenada, is pretty much where we have been so far. We've spent extended periods of time in St. Thomas, in St. Martin, Puerto Rico, Grenada. We spent last hurricane season down there. And we're very hopeful, fingers crossed, that this season will lead us beyond the Caribbean, possibly down into...
Oh, that's a question for later. See? Down here. No, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay, so you have to wait 4.
All right.
Throw the baby. I've never heard that one before. So I guess you'll have to wait for where we're going. But we are hopeful to make some waves outside of the Caribbean this year.
First question. What are some of the biggest myths or bad advice you got before you got on the boat?
I don't know if I would put it as a myth or bad advice. I guess I'm going to put mine into more of like a fear category, is that all of this is, especially at my age, that it would be too much
25.
to learn. I'm not 25. I wish.
Okay, you screwed up with the girlfriend.
That all of these systems and sailing and how does solar power work and all of these different things, how do you make water, how do you get back and forth to land, that all of these things would be too much to learn, too much to navigate. So I think for me, that's the biggest, like, again, I put mine in kind of like a fear category, but I think that's mine.
For me, it is, I would go with more bad advice. There is, on social media, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or any of the platforms, there is a subgroup of people who like to spread fear. They like to tell you how difficult something is. And I'm not trying to minimize the impact of life out here, but you have a higher chance of dying on your commute to work than we do out here. And that's a horrible way to say it. But the bad advice I would definitely say is not identifying who you're listening to online. There is no resume when somebody tells you, don't buy a catamaran. Monohulls are the only way to go. Catamarans flip. You have to be able to do your own research and come to your own conclusions and believe in yourself. But there are a lot of people out there who want to fearmonger. And what I've done when I've deep dived most of these people in the comment section, they live on land, they have a boat in a marina, and I can't find a picture of the last time they took it out. That is a completely different lifestyle than somebody who races boats, or somebody who weekends on boats, or teachers who live on their boats during the summer and then come back to land, or people like us who are full-time live aboard world cruisers.
Yeah.
So you got to get your advice from the people who are living in the same swimming pool you are.
And even then, different people. We live on a catamaran. There are lots of people that live on trawlers. There's lots of people that live on monohull sailboats. There's people that are on power catamarans versus sail catamarans. There's so many different options for
keep water from coming in and keep water from coming in. And that means knowing the bottom of your boat and keep it from coming in from the bottom, and also knowing how your boat drains rainwater to keep water from coming in from the top. Other than that, there's only one thing that sinks boats, and that's land, so avoid it. That sounds horrible, but as long as you know how the underside of your boat is doing and you're checking your bottom,
he's really good at checking the bottom.
Yeah. I guess we can say a lot more on YouTube than we can on TikTok, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love touching the bottom. But no, you gotta know your boat enough to know what's going to cause you a problem. Your rudder bearings, your through holes, your keeping up on your bilge pumps. But I'm not necessarily worried about sinking because I understand my boat now. But the only other thing to cause it to sink is to run into land. So we do certain things on our boat because we're chicken. I guess you can say that on YouTube. We're chicken shit. We have a depth finder on our boat that tells us what the depths are. We added 4 feet to that. So if we pulling into a place and it says it's 24 feet of water, it's actually 28. So we make sure that there is no possible chance we can run aground. We're still going to. There are 2 types of sailors out there: ones who have run aground and liars.
Yes.
But the reason why I'm not as worried about sinking is because I know how the underside of my boat works. I know how the water drainage for rain works on this boat, and we stay away from land. We don't even go to the dock for fuel. I use jerry cans to go to the dock because every chance you get to hit land is a chance to ruin your boat.
Yep.
So, scared of other countries.
Scared of other countries. I don't. We traveled relatively extensively before getting on the boat, so my fear of other countries was already probably lower than the average threshold for that. But again, it's kind of what I was saying earlier about when we were talking about pirates and stuff. Is you've got to do your research. There's certain countries that we might not be super welcome at. There are certain areas in certain countries that we might not be super welcome in. And you just have to do that research. And at the end of the day, people are people. And sometimes you have to get out of your own head and stop listening to the media. Because I think the media, like he was talking about, fear mongering with certain things. I think sometimes the US media will tell you that somewhere or something or someone is bad, but some of it we kind of take with a grain of salt. Now, that's not to say that, again, if they report something on Somali pirates, that we're just going to be like, oh, not a big deal. Wind gusts just came through, like we've been saying. They just kind of come out of nowhere. But again, you've got to just do your research and know that I feel like most people are good. And so that, to me, again, is not a huge fear or concern because we do extensive research. We check into places long before we ever get to them, except for St. Bart's.
Right. People are people, like she said, and that comes with the good and the bad. There's going to be a travel advisory for, I don't know, the Bahamas this month. We don't issue travel advisories for Detroit or Chicago or, honestly, one of the scariest places I was, South Mississippi. Anybody who lives down there, sorry, but I was stationed down there, and there's some places I just wasn't allowed to go. So I'm not scared of other countries. That's why we live this life.
Mm-hmm.
If I just wanted to know everything about being an American and living with my neighbors, I would have never left my house. My goal is to meet people out here.
Yep.
Which means also for you, when we go to these other countries, how hard is it to do food and supplies?
That is a tricky one to some extent. You're not getting Amazon Fresh out here. You're not getting your favorite brand of beef jerky or, your select Kobe beef from certain places. I guess
I don't know if I ever got Kobe beef when we were on land.
Well, but it was available.
Not in my pocket. I don't know whose wallet you were digging into. My wallet never said I could afford Kobe beef when we were on land. All right, sorry.
But there are certain things, and this even went back to when we lived in Puerto Rico. The local supermarket, my memory is about tomatoes. I always looked at the tomatoes at the local supermarket and they were kind of orange. And I'm like, oof, like these aren't even they're not ripe. Those aren't good tomatoes. And I never bought them. I went to Costco and got the vine ripe, the nice, pretty, perfectly red ones. Well, as it may be, there was a time where we just needed tomatoes. I wasn't going all the way to Costco. And so I sent my kid to the local store to get the tomatoes. They were orange. I was like, it's going on tacos. It's no big deal. They were really good. So you've got to kind of take into consideration too that in these other countries, things are different, but different isn't bad. And you just have to get to know those things. And, you walk into a French store and none of the brands are brands that you're used to. you don't know if you're picking a generic brand or a name brand, or so you kind of get out
You don't
of
even
your,
know if you're picking Alfredo versus horseradish sauce.
that did happen. I did actually pick up something that I thought was Alfredo. It was not. It was horseradish. Worst pasta we ever had that night. But again, you just have to kind of like open your mind and see things in a different perspective and be willing to try different things. I was kind of always the person on land where it's like I found something that worked for me, and you know, Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. I like it, it works, it does what I need, and that's what I bought. There were 5 other options, but that was the one that I always bought. But out here, you're probably not going to find that. You might even be lucky to find cream of mushroom soup, period. But finding your specific brand of things, it might not happen. You might have in your mind that you're going to make, I'm on cream of mushroom, so beef stroganoff for dinner. But if you can't find the supplies that you need, then you kind of have to call an audible and prepare something else.
There's somebody like Vinaigrette out there going, "You do not use cream of mushroom to make stroganoff? You crazy Americans!"
Right.
One thing with the World Cup going on right now, I am seeing a lot of world people going to America and being in amazement, being like, "Oh my God, you have this, you have that, you have this." We get the same thing living this life every day. I am not trying to go down a conspiracy route or, RFK this thing, but the foods taste fresher down here. They taste real. Their ingredients lists are ground hamburger is beef and salt. It is no added junk to it. Our butter, everywhere we've lived, everybody knows about having the butter dish on the counter. We know about that in America because our butter has partially hydrogenated soybean oil or whatever they put in it.
All the additives.
Our butter here is milk and salt. It is amazing how good things taste.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as supplies go, it is different than just stopping by 6 stores on your way home from work and being able to do that in an hour. Versus us, it's an all-day event to go find one piece of pipe to fix a toilet. But that's the adventure. Then we're finding a food truck out in the locals community selling barbecued chicken fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just good.
And
That's why
and even in America too, it's like you said, go to 6 stores. There isn't to me, I'm thinking of like super centers and stuff where you can get anything from, soup to nuts and tools and home supplies and everything all in one store. And you can do it relatively quickly and be done with your day all in one store. Where here, there is a lot of separation. There aren't massive stores. We've noticed on some of the islands, I'm going to go back to groceries a little bit, but it pertains to everything. Certain stores only sell produce or don't sell meat. You have to go to an actual butcher to get meat. So sometimes things are a little bit more separated. And like he said, it is kind of an all-day adventure, but that's the fun of it.
Right. And you get to meet more people that way. You get to talk to people. Part of why I'm doing YouTube, we're doing fine on TikTok. TikTok, we answer these questions. This is a TikTok episode almost for us.
Yeah.
But for me, for YouTube, is I want to tell the stories like I did last week at Juggies and St. Martin. Or as I hinted to about Zach Fannin, the guy we met in St. Bart's that I really want to interview. This first year of YouTube is me building up my skills and building up my videography ability to tell the stories of the people. But if I'm just running into Walmart and buying the 20 items I need and going to self-checkout, did I meet anybody? Did I
Or
hear
having
anybody's story?
or having Amazon deliver it, or
Right. Because in St. Martin, there was, I don't know what the proper term for it is. There was an Asian bodega I went to every day. And me and that lady formed a friendship, and she knew what I was going in there for every day. Like, I would walk up to the counter and set my stuff down. She would know the total, already have it on a calculator. It was cute. It was fun. I spent a lot of time there being single and buying the same things because I'm a creature of habit. But you don't get to form
being
that.
single.
Yeah. Awkward pause. You were gone.
You weren't single.
I didn't exactly have a wife around.
She was still here, just not here.
Oh, okay. And that's why I told all the ladies too. So yeah, it's for us. It's the adventure of the adventure. It's a part of it. It's a feature. It's not a bug. Which leads to, since we just talked about you always ditching me, what do you miss most about land life?
I mean, again, I think this kind of goes, it's kind of a double-edged sword because we do really like the adventure of finding new things and, not just ordering things on Amazon and it just randomly shows up at your door. But there is a level of convenience in that. There is a level of security knowing that anything that you need can just be here within 24 hours. Unless you get Puerto Rico mail. But having that convenience sometimes is a miss. I would say I miss that sometimes about land life. Not being able to just easily be like, I don't feel like cooking dinner tonight. We're either going to have Uber Eats or, have pizza delivered. I have not found one pizza delivery boat since we started this. So,
Liar. Pizza Pie in St. Thomas.
they do have. We did not do the delivery boat, but yes, they I guess they do deliver.
Okay. And we have ordered Domino's in St. Martin to another pizza restaurant that was closer but had worse pizza. We'll drag this out forever. For me, what I miss most about land life is family, friends, getting a message from Denton, wishing I was hanging out. Right now, as we're recording this, my son is on his way to MEPS in Seattle to enlist into the Army. That's a big dad moment for me, and I'm missing it. Yes, I did look at flight prices. Yes, I was about to get on a plane and fly there, but part of this decision was his decision and independence and letting him leave the nest. But I do miss family. But we also get family more when they come down to visit because then you get a week together instead of the amount of time you'd spend, even if you lived in the same town, spending an hour here, an hour there throughout a month. When our kids come down to visit, they stay for a week or two, and you get them for a full week or two.
And not to let him show me up, I do miss family also. There's another question coming.
Choice. No, that was not her top
There's
choice.
Another question coming.
Are you saying we pre-plan these questions?
Well, yes, it's questions people ask.
Oh.
That I'm
telling
gonna
how the sausage is made, folks.
I'm gonna address more about family and such.
So moving on to a random question I just thought of. I didn't have a list in front of me. What do we love most about boating?
For me, I definitely love the adventure and the freedom of if I don't like somewhere or if we don't like somewhere, then we can just pick up our whole house and move it. While that seems like an inconvenience, it's not. It's great. We can just move. Honestly, even if this wind got to be too much, we could just move to a different anchorage. We have been to a couple of anchorages here in St. Kitts, and I think we're in the best spot, even though it's a little windy here. but I do love exploring new places. That is something that for me, like I was talking about earlier, I kind of have been the, if you find something that works for you, I just kind of stick with it, and not try out new things. Well, don't do that, because then you're gonna get offended when I say I'm really excited that we are doing new things and we're going and seeing new places and um but it
Giggity,
is
giggity.
it is the adventure of it all.
And for me, the thing I love most about boating is taking National Geographic articles from when I was a kid, or taking what you see on the Travel Channel and putting it into my own eyes. A camera, even us right now with whatever background, she's hot, but she's not as hot as she is in person. That mountain over there is majestic, but it's not as majestic as in person. When that camera person decides to show you St. Kitts, even us, when we decide to show you,
How you can live this life. So even just live aboard sometimes can be, there's people that live aboard full time and never leave a marina. So you really got to get into the specific niche that you and your partner, or even if you're a solo sailor, decide to be in,
you've
right?
got to find your clan and trust your clan.
Yep.
Next question. The standard.
Sharks, pirates, storms, and sinking. That is something that, again, with TikTok, that comes up almost nightly. One of those, at least I would say probably even more like 2 to 3 of those come up in each live. Are you scared of pirates? Have you seen a shark? What are you doing? What are you doing during storm season, and how do you get away from them? And aren't you afraid your boat's going to sink?
And I'll start with sharks, because we grew up in Washington State. There are a lot of bears in Washington State. I was never attacked by a bear. Bears are scarier to me than sharks. I lived right next to bears. We coexisted peacefully. I think of Bruce from Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food. I really believe that sharks have that mentality with us as well. Yes, there are occasions. Yes, there is somebody going, but in Eleuthera yesterday, somebody just got attacked by a shark. I understand. And somebody got attacked by a bear in California, I'm sure, in the last month or two. But I had the same level of fear and percentages of that out here as I did on land, living next to a forest full of bears.
And also with sharks, I think a common misconception is that all sharks are bad and all sharks want to just eat you for fun. A lot of the sharks that we see out here, because we have seen sharks, but a lot of the sharks that we see out here are very docile. They're not out to eat you. They're just living in the same water that we happen to be cruising in. So for the most part, sharks are a non-factor for us. Again, if we were in an area where, a high concentration of great whites, I would find somewhere else to swim. But that's just me.
And you have to understand that no matter how high you think of yourself, we are not tasty to sharks. We are not the KFC of the shark world. Oftentimes when I go back and I read reports on shark attacks and stuff, not all the time. I see you in the comment section. But a lot of times when you go back, you'll find out that the shark attacked somebody's wrist because they had a shiny watch on, or they attacked a leg because they had a lanyard to a paddleboard or something stringing off. Oftentimes you can see what led to the interaction. Not all the times, but a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Which leads to pirates.
So, I mean, I guess maybe you should do your explanation of what a pirate is to us.
Well, in the world, there are such things like the Somali pirates, and there are legitimate pirate zones, which is basically just saying there's organized water criminal activity in certain parts of the world. Okay. Now, out here in the anchorages that we choose to go to, in the areas we research and go to, pirates are more like water tweakers, right? It's that person that's going to wander onto your property and steal your microwave because he thinks he can fix his car stereo with it. It's out here, they need a boat though. So we aren't as worried about pirates as people would think you should be. We have safety precautions on board. Anybody who has ever tried to get onto a boat from a dinghy knows how hard it is to board a boat. It's even harder when you have her yelling at you, spraying you with wasp spray, and me beating you with a fishing pole. It's just not worth it. I don't know if you can see it, but we have security cameras everywhere around, and we do travel in a pack. So pirates are probably the least of my concern on this list.
And we do our research. We, like Blaine said, there's specific areas like, the Somali pirate zones. We do our research into the countries that we're going to, and even the specific anchorages we're going to. And that's no different than what somebody would do on land and, not going to certain areas at night alone, carrying thousands of dollars. You just have to be thoughtful and be mindful of what's going on around you, wherever that is, whether it's on the water or on land.
I have been more intimidated, scared, negative conflicts walking from a Seahawks game to the parking garage I parked in Seattle than I have in any anchorage out here.
Correct.
So that leads to Storms, which is your favorite thing, because there's nothing more attracted to her than me other than a storm.
Attractive?
Yeah, they find you.
Yeah. That means they're attracted to me, not I'm attracted to them.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing more attracted to you than me, except for Storms. Maybe there's somebody out there that's more attracted to you than me, but we gotta go find them.
Hurricanes are no joke. We have went through a hurricane. We went through Hurricane Ernesto in St. Thomas. I believe that was 2024, summer of 2024.
It was the summer of 60.
And not that it was a bucket list thing, but that check mark has been made. Not 0 stars, do not recommend. We were trying to hold steady for some medical things that were going on with family in the States at the time. And we made the poor decision to stay and ride it out, and it'll be okay. It was not okay. It was not fun. We will not do that again. And to prevent that, we all have weather apps. Even Blaine looks at different ones that I look at, and we kind of compare. Also with that is we actually this season are running with 2 other buddy boats, and we all collectively look at what we look at and we talk about it. And it's like, hey, what are you seeing for this day? And we're thinking about moving on this day. Do you think that's a good day to move? And we have info that says, yeah, it's a great day to move. But somebody else might pop up with, hey, I'm on this, I'm seeing that. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that. And we can talk about it and make proper plans. Now, sometimes, a rainstorm will come in, or this particular anchorage that we've been in, like Blaine said at the beginning of this video, it's really windy here.
It's been no joke.
It's been really windy for 2 weeks, to the point where, we're sleeping upstairs at times just to keep an eye on things and make sure everything is good. So there are lots of procedures and things that we do to stay safe. And right now we are working our way down the chain to get out of the hurricane zone for this hurricane season.
Aren't you scared of other countries?
Oh, we missed sinking.
Oh, sinking's pretty easy. I'm just going to explain this and again, we're going to be putting out a video in the next couple months. It might be with my buddy boat Josh. We've been talking about doing kind of a podcast video. of how to get people who want to live this dream started. And the first thing to realize about a boat is you have two rules. St. Kitts, we're showing you what we saw of St. Kitts. Or we're showing you what we recorded and didn't edit out of showing you of St. Kitts. Being out here, I have no editor. I have no gatekeeper between me and the information I want and the experiences I want. And that might not seem like so much when you're in St. Kitts or you're in St. Martin. But when we get down to the Amazon and we get down to Machu Picchu and we get down to some of these ruins and stuff, me being able to feel that is going to be way better than me being able to watch it on a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you get lonely?
I do. Lots of layers to that. So there's definitely what?
Fun.
There's definitely a FOMO, fear of missing out on certain things. We've missed weddings and babies being born and birthday parties and Christmases and
Yes, Sydney, you're not sending enough kids of our baby. That also goes
pictures.
Yeah, that also goes to Bruce and Carol. Like, hello. Sorry.
So yeah, we do miss out on a lot of those things, which can be hard to not be there for those things. But like Blaine said, when people do come down and visit, I do feel like it is a lot more quality time that we spend with people. Again, I talked about that this season we do have 2 buddy boats. I think that has really helped us this year. As far as I think last year we were a lot more lonely than we are this year, at least me.
I haven't answered the question yet. I don't know why you speak for me.
At least for me, it was just the 2 of us, and not that I don't love spending time with my husband. But I am gusty again. I am a social person and I do love talking to people and hanging out with people. Part of the reason that I do like doing TikToks so much is because I have built friendships and bonds with people that come into my life on a regular basis. And
Shameless plug. She's just plugging her TikTok.
I'm not plugging it. I have built some really good relationships with the people that watch us on a regular basis, and you learn to care about their family and their cute little dog named Jasper. There's lots of those situations that happen too, and you do meet a lot of new people sailing around. And you build friendships with them, with people who are into boating. It's kind of like you already have that initial thing in common that you have with each other, which makes it really nice for building those friendships. In the real world, Tiffany, Jimbo, Blaine, and I probably would have never met because we're from Washington and they're from Georgia. Our paths probably would have never crossed had we not been out boating and had that similar interest, and Blaine needed a ride to the airport and Jimbo helped out.
Yeah, Tiffany and Jimbo are from Georgia. Ryan is from Tennessee. Heidi and Nate are from Utah. Josh and Keely are from California. We're from Seattle/Puerto Rico. Like, I don't know. The Power Man 5000 song just pops in my head. This is what it's like when worlds collide.
Yep.
And hopefully I paused enough in there where I could just insert that little audio clip there. So moving on, because I think we're already up to like 40 minutes. We have a question that we get asked a lot is, how hard is it to get started? A lot easier it is than to drown out a jet ski noise. And what I want to state is that me and Josh are actually going to start doing a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. We haven't quite figured out the time frame, but a couch to cockpit series focused on our generation or younger. And I'm sorry to say it this way, but it's the best way to say it. Get rid of all the boomer negativity in boating and explain how you can do this. The realistic costs, none of the BS of, you're gonna shoot your eye out. Like, it just a real life how you can go from your couch to a cockpit of a boat for you based on your circumstances. So we are going to be starting a series on that. But it is the most popular question, so I wanted to put it on here. But that leaves with the final.
Well, I got something to say with that too.
Holy shit,
For
I was gonna
me,
say.
as far as like how hard is it to get started, for me, I was my own worst enemy. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn. I don't know how to do all this. I don't know how to raise sails. I don't know how to make water. I don't know how to drive a dinghy. Still don't. But
She does.
know how and are good at two different things, I suppose.
Really? Oh, you're talking about Tic Tac the boat.
Yeah, TikTok
Oh,
the boat.
right. Yeah, no, she doesn't know how to drive that thing at all.
But sometimes you just got to get out of your own head, and this is again one of the things we've talked about on TikTok is that whether it's getting on a boat and sailing around the world, or getting that job promotion that you've always wanted, or changing job professions completely, or moving to a different state or a different country, or whatever it is that you want to do, just getting out of your own head and just doing it. Like what did you say? Couch to
Couch to cockpit.
and that can be for anything. But we've talked before that, Blaine's had this dream of living on a boat and sailing around the world since he was 9 and read the Odyssey. I did not read that book. I still have not read that book.
Well, it's a book.
I know. And
The movie comes out this year. You can watch that.
and well, that's silly too,
Why?
because I don't watch movies very often.
Oh.
But now I lost my train of thought.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Oh, I was gonna say, I grew up in farm country, not even close to an ocean. I had no idea that this was even possible, and even when we got together and started talking about this, it was like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. Not really thinking that this would be our life someday, but we said from the beginning that this is what we wanted to do and that we were going to do it sometime. And I think everybody thought we were crazy. I still think half of those people still think we're crazy, but we're doing it.
And that's okay. And that leads to the number one question we get all the time, every time, and especially lately, because we haven't shared anything really. Where are we going? And I'm going to start with globally. We are going around the world. Okay. Our goal is to take this boat and circumnavigate the whole world. I don't know if you normally watch sailing channels or anything. That seems to happen at a speed and pace that blows my mind. We are not those people. We are not in a hurry.
We're not racing our circumnavigation.
We are slow rolling. But where are we going next?
Well, next, yeah, there is a situation going on. Nate's snorkeling, and there's a giant boat coming. Where are we going? We are going south.
Speaking of going south, that whole situation out there almost went south real quick. But
that's boat life.
That's boat life. So where are we going this season? We just covered the fact that we're circumnavigating slowly, but where are we going in the next few months, this season, This
season, like you said, we are headed south. We're going to kind of island hop, time permitting, weather permitting. But our goal for this season is to get down to Brazil by February. I believe there's Carnival in Brazil in February, and I think that's where we're headed. That also allows us to cross the equator for the first time. 5 out of the 6 of us have not crossed the equator. Maybe in the comments below, comment who you think did cross the equator out of Blaine, myself, Keely, Josh, and Heidi and Nate, who do you think crossed the equator?
By plane or by boat?
By boat.
By boat, yeah, because that's all that matters, you know. Because to boaters, boats are all that matters. So join us as we island hop. We will be doing this slowly. Plans on a boat are always fluid, always changing. We could rip a sail in Guatemala or in Guadalupe and be stuck there for a month. We could find the world's most perfect bakery in Martinique and never leave there and just roll out of there like the blueberry from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Or we could be in Brazil in the next video. We don't know. There's no way we're in Brazil by the next video.
But also with videos, this is another question we've gotten asked quite a bit. Our plan is to put out a video every week. Obviously, that was our plan starting in 2025, and I think this is going to be episode 9. So clearly we didn't hit that mark, but I feel like we are getting back in the swing of things, getting better at it. Again, our goal is for a Sunday release. Still not hitting that just quite yet, but we are working towards that. So thanks for being patient with us while we start getting back in the swing of things and start getting those Sunday releases that we're working for.
And we don't expect these videos to be polished. What you don't see is in the background. I have a goal with each video to learn a new skill, to apply that skill to my editing. My goal is to take a year or two and learn the art of this so that 2 years from now, I am putting out quality videos and I can interview amazing people and get their stories on record, which is what I want to do. But that's going to take time, and that's going to take some growing pains, and that's going to take a fuzzy mic, that's going to take a blurry camera, that's going to take remembering to pull out the camera. Thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you next week as we try and survive this wind in St. Kitts and get boat projects done and explore the island as much as possible.